You know what's crazy? You literally described my whole high school experience with the math thing because that's exactly what happened. Freshman year, I took algebra. It was mixed. First of all, a new teacher. We had two teachers. We had two teachers in one semester because the teacher left before they even finished. And it was all the bad kids was in there, was 16 to 17. It was like I'm sitting here like, wow, did you see Steinmetz High School in 19? Like, wow, that's crazy. Like, and then the whole trajectory afterward. Luckily, I decided to go art as a direction. So I just went to art school afterwards. So it didn't affect me as far as like, oh, I want to go to university and do all these other things. But had I wanted to do something different, that would have affected my trajectory even worse.
I had
Yeah.
algebra one too, and
It's
I was with the
interesting.
knuckleheads, and it made it very hard to kind of like get your lessons and everything when they was in there acting wild and they were talking crazy, disrespecting the teachers and everything. So you kind of like follow the pattern of what they were doing because it was hard to kind of study and do the work that was in front of you because these dudes didn't care about that.
I find it to be interesting that you made all of those points because that was similar to my experience in high school, and it informed the way I raised my kids before they graduated high school. I got three kids graduated high school. My youngest just graduated this past spring,
Hello.
and the way that I raised them was me being a lot more hands on with the homeschooling, the teaching. So when they did go to school, they had a leg up because I knew going into high school it was going to be exactly what you described. I came out of high school in '95, so to know that this system has not diverted from that is kind of scary to me. But me raising my kids and watching them go through it, my oldest son graduated high school with a football scholarship and an engineering scholarship. You know what I'm saying? My youngest son, he has his ADHD, but he still managed to graduate damn near with honors. My daughter, she just graduated with honors, and they all went into high school not having to worry about Algebra 1 because I put it in their head, taught them what they needed to know, kind of encourage and inform them, hey, this is the way you circumvent the unnecessary struggles.
Yes.
Because these are things that you can't control if you don't know it's there. But because a lot of parents don't have that foresight, a lot of them just don't have the information. Some of them don't have the time. Again, to the point I was making about working all the time and stuff like that. A lot of parents are so out of the loop when it comes to what their kids' educational challenges are because they got to provide. Because they didn't necessarily they didn't have the right experience in high school either. And then that also comes down to the question of what is the right experience in high school, because it's almost like it's a factory environment where they group us together and like teachers know exactly who their top students are. Those are the easier to teach students. Those are the ones that they know they're going to get the assignments returned. Those are the ones that are showing up. So that's low impact on the teacher. The ones in the middle are probably more challenging than the ones who don't show up at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, because I used to skip school when I was in high school. I know what that was about. You know what I'm saying? Hell, the teachers used to contact my mom like he's killing it when he's here, but he just don't want to be here. And I know in my mind also that as males we have a different capacity for learning and education than girls. We're not as receptive to certain forms of discipline. If you speak to us in a certain way, we kind of stonewall things like that, and that doesn't even account for like the things that are happening at home. Students show up to school, and that's just their get away from home stuff. So
it's interesting that you say that because at school, listen, and by the way, I'm guilty of this. So a lot of people came for me on IG, and it's good. I'm gonna keep it $1.25 with inflation, right? We can't keep it $1. But we knew who the kids who were going to be trouble were, and we did the best we could to keep them away, whatever. But listen, it's a zero mass situation. What I mean by that is like at a certain point, the school gives up on that community of people. And it's like, okay, how do we just massage through the year, right? And you know, it's kind of like the greater good, right? Like, hey, we got 97%. I was at a school of 4,000 kids. James Logan High School, 4,000 kids. So imagine you got a school with 400 adults on campus between teachers and parents, right? We had 10 principals. There were 8 house principals, assistant, and school principal. Like 3% though. What's 3% of 4,000? Right? Like 1% of 4,000 is 40. So 3% is 120. That's 120 kids. Like that's a lot of kids, right? How do you navigate that? You know, and so you got to make tough decisions. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like I'm not proud of every decision I made as a principal. I can say in full fidelity, I did my very best as a teacher. If you come for me as in my teaching, I'll pull 100 kids who are now adults because I taught, you know, most of my students are now 25, 26, 27. They'll bang on you. I guarantee it. If you try to come for me as a teacher, I ain't got to say nothing. 100 kids will come for your neck. As an admin, again, I didn't say this earlier, but I walked away. I walked away in my 7th year because I finished my master's in 17. And when I finished my research, it was very clear, like, hey, there's some very easy, not easy, but there are very clear solutions that if we really focus on these 3 deals, we can have huge impact, right? And number one,